I cannot believe that I have been freelancing for almost 2 years now, full time for just over one of those 2 years. And through that time, I have learned something really, really important. Discipline is key. Without discipline, there's absolutely no way that I could have done this. And I really need discipline in so many different areas. First, I need discipline with just how I operate the business. I do it all now. I am the administrator and the strategist. So yes, I'm working with clients and doing the actual communications work and strategy. And I'm also getting things together for my taxes and managing my healthcare and retirement and tracking my expenses and tracking my mileage when I have to drive somewhere for a client. So it requires so much discipline to keep everything in order and organized and filed so that I can make sure that all my ducks are in a row from a business operational perspective. And the second thing that I have to be really disciplined about is my clients. I have said no to work that would really be interesting, but it didn't match the goals that I set for myself at the beginning of my sort of journey. I sat down and asked myself a lot of really key questions to figure out what kind of business do I want to build and what kind of clients and what kind of revenue. And when I have opportunities that don't fit into what I have already sort of laid out and decided for myself, I have to say no. And it's really hard because there have been some clients that I really wanted to work with. I love the work. There was one organization focused on uplifting young people who were making a difference in their community and getting laws passed and doing things that were really important grassroots work. But unfortunately, the budget of the organization and sort of what I need to be able to sort of take work on just didn't match. Another great organization I was connected with was looking for support in uplifting Black creatives and Black filmmakers and storytellers, which is something I'm really, really passionate about personally. But again, it didn't align from a business perspective. And it was hard. It was so hard to say no to those opportunities. But I'm ultimately glad that I did because it made room for other opportunities that were a fit. And we have to remember that every time we say yes to one thing, we say no to something else that could come along later. So every yes has to be really, really thoughtful and really, really intentional. And I knew that if I said yes to those things, that it would not set me up for the best opportunity in the future. So ultimately, I had to know what I am worth and what this sort of needs to look like for me, and I had to have the discipline to be able to say no in those situations. There's also discipline involved when you are working with a client and you're going back and forth on rates and on contracts and all of that business stuff, and it can be a little bit intimidating and a little bit scary to say, well, no, I have to get paid in 30 days, or this is sort of the minimum hourly rate that I'm going to take. And knowing that if, could I push the client too far, or will they not want to work with me anymore? But you have to have the discipline of knowing your worth, knowing your value. You should have already sort of had these thresholds in your mind up front so that when the time comes, it's easy to just say, well, this doesn't work for me because I've already decided what does work for me. And when the client says yes, that's great because then you're off on a very good foot knowing that you have a client that recognizes your worth and your value the same way that you do. The other thing that I've had to be really, really disciplined about, of course, is my time. Obviously, if you are working with clients, they all want so much. They all want so much of your time and your energy. And it can be really tempting, especially at the beginning of your journey, to say yes to everything that is asked of you and wanting to go above and beyond. I know for me, I'm just starting out. I really want to make the client happy. I really want to get off on the right foot and go above and beyond. But when you do that, and in my case, when I was tempted to do that, I really had to step back and again remind myself, why did I even start on this freelance journey? It's because I wanted to free up my time. It's because I wanted to have more autonomy and flexibility and more spaces and places to get into other projects that I'm interested in. So if I am going above and beyond and saying yes to everything and not sticking to my boundaries, I'm actually going against why I even started doing this in the first place. And so again, you have to be really disciplined with your time, because that is the one resource you can never get back. And so for me, I've had to really set a lot of boundaries around how I work and when I work and what I work on, so that I can protect my time. The discipline in these three areas has just been so vital, so just important for me to be able to sustain this for the time that I have. And so if you are thinking about going out on your own and starting your freelance journey, definitely remember that discipline is key. Let me know in the comments, how disciplined do you think you are? Do you think that you have the discipline at this point to be able to take the leap? Let me know.